This is Anthony with the Rag Company, and thank you for joining us this evening for the Ultra H2O live stream event, my creation, which includes everything that comes in the Ultra H2O lineup, and of course showing you how this lineup actually works when it comes to automotive detailing. Now, this is a live video, meaning what you're seeing right now is real, which gives you the opportunity to ask your questions down in the comments below, and we're gonna be able to answer those in real time. Now, on top of that, we're gonna be giving away to one lucky winner a full Ultra H2O kit, which is going to include the spray gun, the spray wand, the foam cannon, and your choice of a nozzle. We couldn't be more excited by what's to come here at the Rag Company, and it starts right now with the Ultra H2O line, my creation. So let's start with the first part of the Ultra H2O experience, which is the unboxing. Now this is without doubt one of the best parts of the Ultra H2O experience. Loving the unboxing, owning the unboxing, and being the unboxing. Now this starts off with the foundation of the Ultra H2O line, the spray gun. Now this right here is hands down one of the most intuitive spray guns on the market, and something that every detailer and every automotive enthusiast will feel right at home using. Now, to be honest, this is a moment that I've been waiting for a very long time. This moment, just me, myself, in front of the screen with this product, doing this on my own. And I couldn't be more excited.
Hey, Anthony. How's it going?
Dane, what are you doing here?
Well, I mean, I'm excited. It's big launch day. I figured we'd kind of dress up a little bit, make it a whole thing.
This is a me thing right now, Dane. Have you not seen the camera work, the action, the white room?
Well, yeah, I got a room too. It's not white, but you know, it's something. I got the black turtleneck. I'm wearing my glasses. Kind of did my hair up a little bit. I thought it'd be like a whole thing and we could be bros about it, you know?
Dane, I'm the one wearing the
bros.
Turtleneck.
Come on.
No, it's Steve Jobs, not Steve. Oh, I guess that is.
Yeah, Jobs is plural, buddy.
There's multiple jobs there.
Yeah, there's more than one. We both have jobs here. So anyway, I'm here to talk on the, let's say, viewer side of things. I bring them into the mix. I throw the comments up on the screen. You handle the easy bit, showing it off. The thing basically sells itself. But anyway, I've done enough interrupting, Anthony. I'll let you have your moment. But just know, I'll be here with the comments ready whenever you want to see them.
Okay, well, I just want you to know, Dane, that this is not what I envisioned, and this is not what I dreamed about for the last several years. But you are one of my best friends, so I will obviously include you in this. But please note that for all future live streams that I'm the only one in the turtleneck. I've taken great offense to the turtleneck kind of duplication here, and you even chose black as well. So that's just not
It's kind of hot in here, I'm not going to lie.
To be honest, like these are exceptionally uncomfortable. I don't really know why anybody would ever want to like willingly wear a turtleneck. I'm actually going to roll up my sleeves right now because it is just horrible. So with that said, you guys aren't here for turtleneck talk. You guys are here to talk about the Ultra H2O line and the Ultra H2O system. So I'm going to go ahead and just be myself. Can I do that?
Okay, fine. But do mention something about a giveaway today. Just something, a little something people might be interested in.
So we understand that we may have sold out of the Ultra H2O Titanium Launch Edition kits. I get it. Yes, they were kind of meant to be sold out because, well, that's why we made a Launch Edition, right? It's meant to be kind of like a collector's item, but something that you can obviously use because it had the titanium sided plates and it had all the cool, like just everything, all the features that you would want from the normal gun, but again, with titanium, and titanium makes everything much cooler. So with that said, you can actually enter to win this particular bundle, the titanium bundle, actually just by, I believe, leaving a comment, right? Is that how we're doing it, Dane? Commenting in the chat? How are people winning this?
All you got to do is participate here in the comments. So if you're in the comments, you're in the running. That's all you got to do. I mean, we'll have to reach out to you, potential winner at some point later on. But, you know, if you're here, then you are automatically in the running.
I'm just confused, Dane, because Apple doesn't do this in their live streams. Like, they don't give away MacBooks and stuff like that.
No, they
So
don't. We're actually one-upping them right now is what we're doing.
You're right. We are.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
better than
that's right.
Apple.
Yeah.
That's
for
amazing.
those 10 seconds or less, we're better than Apple.
Ah, it feels amazing.
Yeah.
Dane,
All
this
right,
is the best
I'm
idea
going away.
ever.
I'm going to let you enjoy that.
Okay, so anyways, if you want to win a titanium Ultra H2O bundle kit, then all you have to do is just leave a comment. Interact with us. Ask questions. Tell us what you like about the line, things like that. I mean, I think all of it kind of counts, so just drop a comment down below here in the live chat. So with that said, you'll have a chance to win that. I understand they sold out, and for some people that could be a bit frustrating, but just know there were 200 of these made. You could have been one of 200. You may actually be one of 200 if you actually purchase the kit, right? So this is the importance of signing up for the Rad Company newsletter, maybe SMS messages if you want to be like the first to know certain things. But just know that we try not to spam you. We try to give you good stuff whenever you sign up for that stuff. But obviously it paid off for the people who got the launch edition kits. So without further ado, we have a spray gun here. And we need to go through the rest of the unboxing process here because this is what we're talking about right here. So we have the H2O experience starting obviously with the unboxing, right? So the second you get Rise at your door, it's gonna have a really cool matte finish here on the outer box. It's gonna have this really cool gloss design. And what I really like is that just Nate Schrum, lead designer here at the Rad Company, he killed it, man. He did such an amazing job. I mean, he does an amazing job with all of his projects. He's a super creative person and somebody that deserves full credit for the way that this packaging looks, the whole experience. And he knew what we were trying to go for here and wanted to deliver that. And it comes down to the foam, the material, the matte finish, all the cool stuff that he did. And so I just want to give a huge shout out to Nate as well as the rest of the marketing team for kind of like lending ideas and stuff like that. And so, I mean, everything from the back of the box to the front of the box, it just makes it very, not only like retail ready, but again, it takes it a step above a lot of the other just spray gun offerings out there where most of them just kind of arrive in a bag or a box, right? This makes it feel a little bit more special and obviously gives you some information that's super helpful. So unboxing this and opening it up, you're going to be greeted by this really cool graphic here at the top, which is going to kind of briefly go over a couple of the features, which includes obviously the rubberized grip. It's going to have the press fit nozzle holder there. It's going to show the trigger lock, the stainless steel swivel, as well as the auto lock coupler on there. And then if you want to learn more, there's actually just more videos of me, which I don't know if you want to watch more videos of me, but if you scan that QR code, it'll take you to more detailed video breakdowns of everything. So coming here, we're going to go ahead and pull the spray gun out of the box. Super, super cool. So we're going to go ahead and set that aside. We'll talk more about all the features of the spray gun here in just a little bit, but I want to show you again what you're getting out of the box here the second this arrives to your door, because I actually have a feeling that if you ordered yesterday and you're in the vicinity of Idaho, then you may actually be receiving your package potentially today. And maybe you need help with unboxing, and that's why you're watching this. But everywhere else in the country, I hope that you get your package soon and you get straight to washing. But just know that this gun is ready to go right out of the box. Literally. Yeah, pull it out. You can go plug it in to your quick disconnect here on your hose and get straight to washing. And guess what? If you don't have a quick disconnect on your hose, we've included one in stainless steel for you in the box, which is pretty cool, right? So you can go ahead and just throw that bad boy on. And Jimmy, do I have a hose? That's a question I never thought I'd be asking. More hose. Well, here we are. So we have a pretty standard, we'll call this a pretty standard hose, right? This is what's going to come on most electric pressure washers here nowadays, right? Some people will actually just take multiples of these and kind of like daisy chain them together. I know I did that for a while, but this is going to be a pretty standard hose. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your quick disconnect here and you are going to simply go over the top, basically press this back down on here. You're just going to seat right there because it's going to have a little O-ring on the inside, and you are going to bring this up and you are going to simply tighten that bad boy down. Once it's all the way tight and you've snugged it down, you're pretty much ready to go. Now, if for any reason you do have any type of leak outside of that, you can take a little bit of the Teflon tape and go around those outer threads just to really seal it in and call it good. But there you go. So that's the quick coupler on there. And just taking the gun now, I'm able to click that in and I am ready to rock and roll and ready to wash. So most high-end hoses will automatically have a nice coupler on there, but if you don't have a high-end hose and it's a pretty standard one, you'll be able to do that. So setting that aside, if you do need an actual adapter, let's just say the 14 to 15 mil adapter is kind of something you need because it's not threading in properly. We've also included one of those as well, and more stainless steel, which is pretty cool. So setting that down, the last thing that's going to come in the box here, actually two more things, is Teflon tape, because again, people need Teflon tape, and for any reason, if the gun's leaking quite literally anywhere, it can all be solved with just more of this. And so the inner portion of the design of the gun actually has a sealant on it rather than Teflon tape. So if the sealant ever leaks or anything like that happens, you can actually just disassemble that and put some Teflon tape on and then reseal it and you're good to go. Or in case the bottom of the swivel starts leaking or anything like that, we've tried to make everything perfect from the factory, but for any reason it isn't, you have Teflon tape to be able to fix that immediately, which is pretty cool. Now, last but not least here, we've included some O-rings, and people are probably wondering what the heck these things are for. Well, if you look at the end of the gun on the auto lock coupler here, there's actually going to be some O-rings down seated inside there, along with one outer ring that kind of couples on this bottom knurling here. If for any reason there's a leak there at the auto lock coupler, you have two O-rings to be able to replace those. And in pretty much the last year, we have been testing multiple versions of, I guess this coupler right here, but a couple different ones. We've never once had a leak, but if we did, we would have an O-ring here to be able to replace that. We just wanted to include it because some people like spinning their foam cannons and other weird things, and we just wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to start leaking. So, and then the other thing we've included there is going to be a nozzle holder grommet. So I'll talk more about this here in a little bit, but here on the Ultra H2O spray gun, you do have a built-in nozzle holder into the mold of the gun itself. Now, what's cool is that inside here, you're going to have a rubber grommet because this is going to be seated and pressed in for a nice press fit. But over time, that grommet will wear out. That's how grommets work. Friction is going to cause it to wear. We recommend actually wetting the nozzle first before sliding it in, and that way it's actually going to have a little bit of lubrication. But for any reason it starts wearing out, all you have to do is zip out the stainless steel screws from the back side of the gun here, separate it, and just replace that grommet. Takes all of 30 seconds to do, and you are back to washing and being able to hold your nozzle. So that is the Ultra H2O spray gun. I think I won another one of our products here, so I think I'm going to bring out the foam cannon, as this was probably the next most questioned product, or I guess the next product here that we had the most questions about. So taking that and setting that aside, ooh, unboxing this, also a good time. Again, Nate killed it on this. We tried to make a very universal look across the board with all of the packaging design. So some people wonder why, right? Like, why did you guys do the packaging like this? It feels very commercial. Well, we did it because nobody else has really, done it to this degree, and done it with all the products to really make it feel like a really good experience, right? Especially at this price point. And so, again, trying to do things a little bit differently, right? Not trying to recreate the wheel, but really just trying to show you a different wheel, a cooler wheel, a nice wheel, a wheel that you want to stare at and you want to ride on potentially for the rest of your life. I don't know if that's true. But anyways, back to it. So the box itself here. So we're going to go ahead and flip this around. I'm actually going to be opening it from, we'll open it from this side right here. Cracking this thing open, you are going to be greeted with, again, another template of the foam cannon itself. It's going to be a full little diagram here showing all the features. Again, scan right here for more information and more videos from yours truly. Now, here in the box, we have everything seated into a nice layer of dense foam, so you know that none of the products here are going to get damaged in transit. Again, we cannot control how the box shows up to you, right? You could have a UPS driver that has had it out for you for several years. Maybe the USPS driver, right? Maybe doesn't like the way you looked at them last weekend, right? Maybe the FedEx driver. Actually, we don't ship FedEx. I don't believe we ship FedEx, so that's not an issue. Disregard that. Sorry, FedEx. But basically, we can't control how it's going to arrive to you. If there's going to be a dent or a ding in the box, we can't really control that across the board, especially on Amazon. But we can at least ensure that the product itself is going to arrive in good shape. So Pulling this out here, we're going to be pulling out the head of the unit. This is going to be the head of the Ultra H2O foam cannon. There's going to be no hose on it right now, I should no pickup tube, because that's going to be in the bottle, and I'll show you that here in 1 second. Pulling out the bottle here, we are going to be greeted with the pickup tube inside the bottle itself. So you're going to go ahead and pull that out. You're going to notice that's going to have the nice weight on it. I'll touch more on that here in just a little bit. And then below that is going to be your bag of spare O-rings, as well as an extra gasket. You're also going to have a 1.1 orifice inside the bag as well. So we tried to, again, make this ready to go right outside of the box. We found that the most commonly used orifices in auto detailing are going to be a 1.1 to upwards of a 1.25. Now, some people will ask, well, I need a 1.3, or I need a 1.45, or I need a 1.9.27653. Whatever that means, right? That's not even a real orifice. But the point is that this orifice is a standard fitting, meaning that you can swap it out with any other type of foam cannon orifice. If you already have an orifice size that's perfect for your foam cannon and it's a standard fitting, that will actually fit into this foam cannon as well. That way you're not overamping your foam cannon or anything like that, or overamping your pressure washer. So basically just know that we've tried to standardize everything, so even if you have spare parts, they're still usable on the system, because I think proprietary stuff is kind of dumb sometimes, and I feel like overcomplicates things and makes a stew of more proprietary things that are behind a proprietary wall, and nobody really wants that, right? Especially not in a tool. Tools need to be able to be used by everybody, so we tried to make this as simple and easy to follow as possible. So anyway, so take a look at that. So we have our gasket here, which is going to be an extra. You don't have to use that anytime soon. Just kind of hold on to it, as that will be a wear and tear item. And then these two O-rings right here are for the base of the 1/4 inch itself right here, so in case those were to ever wear out. So setting that aside, let's go ahead and assemble the foam cannon. So grabbing our base here, I'll talk more about the features later on, but this is pretty simple. Grab our base, find the framing. There we go. And from there, we're going to grab our tube. Wait, these don't go together. Set that down. Then grab the other part and bring it up. All right, perfect. We're going to take that tube and we are going to insert it onto this little nozzle here, right? This little nipple, I should say. Once it's on the nipple, it's good to go. Give it a little tug. And like any good dad says, that's not going anywhere. You can say that if you want to say that yourself when you put the tube on. So after that, we're going to go ahead and drop this down over the top. And on your foam cannon, you may find that the first couple uses may be a little snug, maybe a little tight. Again, the clearances here on the bottle itself, right? We tried to make these as tight as possible, but when it comes to molds and it comes to HDPE, nothing will ever be perfect, but we really tried to get it there. So what you're going to notice is probably a little bit of friction. What you're going to do is press it on over the top, try to align it to where it falls below, I guess in between the notches. And then once it's down seated, you're going to press down and give it a nice snug turn, and you're going to feel that tighten up, and that's on there. That's seated, and then to twist it off, you're just going to go counterclockwise, or I should say that was clockwise, and then be able to pull that off. So same thing again, drop it down, counterclockwise, it's going to lock it in place, and you are good to go. All right, so we will touch more on, again, all of the features here in just a little bit, but I just wanted to walk you guys through the setup of this, because at this point, this is ready to use. Simply set your foam to maximum amount of foam, if that's what you want to do. Set your adjustment, find your width through all of the detent adjustments here, and find what area you would like to foam on your vehicle and the amount of width you're looking for. And then after that, just literally foam home, send it, and have an absolute blast doing it. We'll get more into the specifics here in just a little bit. Next up here, I think we're going to be touching up on something that surprised me, which was the wand. Now, we knew upon the launch that the wand was something that was kind of a big question, right? How many people enjoy using wands? Because we find that it's a good 50-50 mix amongst the detailers that we know of people who like using an extended wand version of a spray gun, and also some people who enjoy using more in a stubby format, right? And using it shorter for wheel cleaning or maybe just smaller cars in general. But what shocked us is how many people love the wand. that pumped me up. I was extremely excited about that because that tells me that this wand did something different that maybe other wands didn't do. Maybe it was an aesthetic thing, maybe it was a feature thing, or maybe it was the fact that this was a tried and true piece in the rest of the system and people wanted that completion kind of feeling there. But you can see here again, Nate got all of that design with that gloss going through there. Dude, it looks so freaking good. Nate, you killed it. If you're watching this right now, man, I'm super proud of you. You did an amazing job. This is just awesome. And so, love the way that that looks. We're gonna go ahead, flip this over, set it on the table, and we're going to pop this thing up, fold it down. Again, you're gonna have another graphic here going over some of the features. And then we're gonna go ahead and pull this out. Now, what's nice about this, no setup. Literally just grab and go. You're gonna put your nozzle in, and you are going to get straight to washing. So the wand itself here, again, I'm gonna go over the features later, but we have the rubberized undergrip, which is extremely noticeable here, provides a really just good grip all the way around. And then we also have the auto lock quick disconnect here at the end. Now, because we included an auto lock quick disconnect, and there's gonna be people who, again, maybe spinning their foam cannons, or maybe just having excessive wear on their O-rings from constant use, well, good news, because in the box, we've also included more O-rings. So you'll be able to swap out the O-rings on this auto lock quick disconnect, so you can hopefully see the value there that we're trying to bring here, again, with everything being stainless and everything just being ready to go and serviceable, right? Everything should be serviceable. Everything should be able to be maintained with either replacement parts or something like that, right? That's how you build a good system, and I think that's what we've done here. So again, you're gonna have good stainless steel screws here on the back, that rubberized undergrip, and it just feels so balanced, especially when you pair it with the spray gun, and I'm really excited to showcase that here in just a little bit. So last but not least here, we have the nozzles. So I'm going to pull out just one of them here for this demo and set that aside, and here we go. My turtleneck sleeves are rolling down. It is incredibly hot. You guys can't tell, but I'm pretty much sweating everywhere, and we'll keep it that way. I don't know why I mentioned it. Shouldn't have said anything, actually. So here we go. Box of the nozzle. So this is going to have the 4.0 orifice size here, and it's going to come in at the 40-degree spray angle. So all of our launch, versions, or the current nozzle lineup are all going to be 40 degrees. We chose 40 degrees because 40 degrees is pretty much the sweet spot, the perfect spot for automotive detailing when it comes to rinsing pretty much anything. Now, if you're looking for some serious power, right, we find that people will go to a 25 to 15 degree, depending on what they're looking for and what that spray angle is for that area, whether it's a wheel well, a wheel, cleaning their driveway, so be it. But 40 degrees really is going to be the sweet spot for automotive detailing. So this is what the box looks like. Very simple, very straightforward. This is not a complex thing at all whatsoever, because this is a very durable part and didn't need a whole lot of protection or more foam for no reason. So opening this up here at the top, we're going to go and flip that tab open. You're going to see more of that Ultra branding there on the inside, which is pretty cool. And then we're going to flip that tab, and then this is going to just simply pull right out, and we can drop the nozzle into our hand. So the nozzle here, pretty straightforward, very, very simple. This is going to be a rubberized grip here, which is really, really nice, and it's going to provide, obviously, that impact resistance if this were to ever get ejecto-cetoed out and hit something. And so really, really cool. Again, more stainless steel, and then we're going to have our orifice size as well as our angle there, right there at the tip, which is super, super cool. So you'll be able to see that just like that. Very nice. So again, not a complex system, but something that I think that most people are going to enjoy, and most people may even actually just purchase this on its own. Maybe they purchase the wand on its own. Maybe they purchase something else on its own. But what I'm trying to say here is, in the end, we try to do the best job we possibly could. And what I mean by that is effort. You can tell when somebody puts in effort. You can tell when somebody tries. And at the end of the day, even if it's not the system for you, even if it's not the perfect system, you can at least say, hey, I respect the amount of effort that that person put in. I expect the amount of effort that the whole team put in, the whole company put in. That's what you can at least say at the end of the day if something isn't for you, right? So rather than saying something negative or whatever it may be, I try to mock it up to like something of that nature. But again, for some people, that answer is still not good enough. The products may still not be good enough. And ultimately, maybe that's just not good enough for you. Good enough. Let's talk about what is good enough. When it came to designing this line and coming to think about every single little detail that a detailer would look for, do you know how many hours that kept me up at night? Do you know how much sleep I lost thinking about the YouTube commenters? What happens if they drop the foam cannon? What happens if the nozzle shoots off and hits a vehicle? What happens when they come knocking at my door and my wife answers and says, who are these weird people with forks and pitchforks and, well, maybe they are large forks and maybe they are torches and maybe they are a combination of a torch and pitchfork combination. That's actually a pretty good idea. I've never thought about that, but that could be the next product in the Ultra line. But what I'm trying to say is the amount of thought that went into this is pretty remarkable. It is something that most people probably wouldn't put as much thought into, but that's what happens when you design a product from scratch, and that's what happens when it starts out with a drawing, and then the drawing turns into a piece of cardboard, and the cardboard turns into a CAD design, and the CAD design turns into more CAD designs, and then after that, it turns into its first very crude 3D print that honestly is hideous and gives you a really hard time imagining what the final product will actually look like. And nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the colors of raw plastic when it's 3D printed. It's hideous, it's ugly, and it's really hard to envision what that final product is really going to look like. But I did it once, twice, 3, 4 times I did this. And eventually, it came to a colored version. It came to a more refined version. It came to its first ever mold. Actually, multiple molds. A lot of molds. Like significant amounts of molds. Nobody talks about molds and how much molds cost. They cost quite a bit of money. And because of that, for the next year, I'll be eating my favorite flavor of top ramen, which just happens to be chicken, which is delicious. And I enjoy it because it reminds me of my college days. And if I were to go back to college, you're going to say, someday, Anthony, you're going to be standing here, dressed as Steve Jobs, presenting on a pressure washing accessory line sold by a towel company. I would think you're smoking crack. But here I am. But I guess anyways, we should probably just touch up on the whole development process of this whole thing and kind of how this really all came together. So over here on my right side, your left side, I do have some of the early prototypes. I pulled these out of what was several bins of early prototypes, but I just grabbed these because I thought there was just kind of, it showcases just some good part of the development process. So we're going to talk about that here in a minute, obviously, and we're going to talk about where that ended up with this full line over here and how really everything transitioned. But this was not a fast process. This is not something that happened overnight. This is something that took a ridiculous amount of time. And that's, again, in the video why I said it's taken so long. So, Dane, I want to pull you back in. I know we talked about the turtleneck thing. I'm over it now. And I know that you're probably sweating with me. So we just wanted to see if we have any questions so far or anything like that.
We have so many comments, I can't even begin to get to them all. It was a lot of commentary of people who were joining in midstream, had no idea why you were dressed like Steve Jobs, like they missed the whole intro and stuff. Don't worry, it's just because we felt like it. But besides that, I do think, just for a moment, I want to throw up Beer Medic's question because he's been asking it a lot. And let's just get this one out the way. What's the minimum GPM needed?
I mean, there's really no minimum GPM needed. I mean, basically, with a pressure washer, if you have something of the line along the lines of I don't know, 0.08 GPM or something of that nature, right? Then, maybe you're not going to get the full awesome experience that maybe you would hope for. But we're finding that now with the kind of industry standards of electric pressure washers, anything within that 1.2 upwards of 2.3 obviously offers an ideal experience. So if you end up somewhere around there, cool. But yeah, I would say, unless you are running, I don't know, a pressure washer that's literally running on mice on a treadmill inside that are moving the water with their just little tiny feet, then yeah, maybe it's not going to be the best experience. But if you have anything that's a modern day pressure washer, especially electric, you'll have a good one.
Okay, and I'm going to save more of the questions for later, although I do want to remind people there is a giveaway going on. If you're commenting here in the stream, you've done your job. Basically, as long as you're commenting, you're in the running. That's all you got to do. So, Raw Dog, don't worry about it. We are not announcing right now the winner. That happens much later in the stream. Just want to throw that out there for anybody who's just joining us and doesn't realize there's a giveaway going on.
Totally. Yep. And we hope everybody obviously comments below and gives us their feedback, right? Like, what do you think about the Ultra H2O system? What questions do you have? And that would obviously enter you into potentially winning a titanium limited edition launch kit. Because the titanium edition is long gone, but we have reserved one for obviously a lucky winner here on today's live stream. So make sure obviously you leave a comment. So let's go ahead and jump into kind of what early development looked like in this line. If you guys watched the video yesterday that we posted on the Rad Company YouTube channel, you'll know that I kind of talked about kind of setting a goal to be able to create a pressure washing accessory line that would really, fit the bill for automotive detailers, car enthusiasts, and people out there that are looking for really plug-and-play solutions to something that really should be more simple, something that shouldn't be kept behind an information wall or gate kept to a certain degree where you have to really fine-tune every single last thing to really, extract perfection out of. The goal here was honestly to create a really universal system that fit the bill for 99% of people over there, and that punched above its weight class. Basically coming in at a price point that was extremely affordable for most people, and again, the performance was obviously the biggest aspect as well, being able to outperform and really benchmark a lot of other competitors, right, up against these products and say, hey, this is literally better than some of these other products out there that are extremely more expensive. And so I think that that's just, again, a huge win on our part and the full team's part here. But ultimately, I kind of started this venture out kind of really in a lot of just early R&D. That's the goal of research and development, is to be able to kind of look at what's on the market and look at the experience that people have with what's on the market. And that really was the core foundation of everything. Basically, I looked at people's feedback, people's comments, seeing how people spoke about washing and pressure washing and everything like that, and just trying to think as a consumer, right, as I am a consumer, what would I ideally want? Like, what would I be looking for if I was trying to shop for something, and what would I expect of that particular product? And so the R&D portion of this was not just about what is the best, what is the best material. It didn't start that way at all. It was just examining the experience of customers, our customers, other people's customers, and just looking at feedback. That's literally probably the first several months was just identifying how people were either happy or unhappy with what they got out of the box with their pressure washer, or happy or unhappy what they bought from Amazon, right? And at that point, I was able to really kind of solidify a good starting point of where we wanted to be as the Rad Company with the Ultra H2O line. And at that point, my vision board kind of started coming together with ideas, colors, shapes, all features. All these different things really started coming together really quickly once I just identified what the market was like. And at that point, it was working with our team here, right? Working with other people who love pressure washing or loved buying pressure washing accessories and getting feedback from them, right? So obviously Josh Brodel, Gabe Garcia, Jimmy Wilkie, all these people are able to provide some just fantastic feedback as I kind of went back and forth trying to understand, like, what are the things that people like, what are the things that people don't like, and then kind of going from there. So again, it started with the initial idea of that we wanted to jump into this particular market, but ultimately on top of that, what was the current experience of this particular market and how could we do it in a different way, or a way that really would make pretty much everybody happy, basically leave no room for real arguments, right? If we could produce a line at the end of the day that had really no massive valid argument on why it wasn't good or why people shouldn't buy this, then I think that's literally you win the battle, and that's what we were trying to do. And so anyways, it was fun, I will say. That first portion, I love that because it felt very like a completely different task, because here at the Rad Company, we have experienced so many different forms of detailing. We've educated and entertained on so many different forms of detailing. Some of it included pressure washers. Some of it didn't include pressure washers at all. Some of it included pump sprayers, hand sprayers, trigger sprayers, rinseless washing, literally solely just rinseless washing, which is the opposite of pressure washing. But taking basically an attempt at understanding the pressure washing market and understanding what kind of accessories would kill it, would be amazing, was just a super cool challenge. Not only for myself but for the rest of the company as well. So it worked out really, really well. So going to kind of the earliest designs here. I mean, here's some of the 3D prints of a variety of different moments in the Ultra H2O line. This was not as simple as just, getting a design from a designer and saying, yeah, that's good. It didn't start like that at all. Funny enough, actually, if we start out with probably the first thing that I ever drew, I'll actually pull this up right here. Oh, I just almost dropped that. It's durable, it's fine. Weirdly enough, it was the wand. The wand was like the first thing I ever drew. I don't know why. I think it's because I thought other wands were kind of boring. And I think it was because maybe I had touched a wand that day and I was like, I think that this needs to have something more. And I don't know what it is, but it needs to have something. So I actually ended up drawing this on cardboard. And basically was initially, I think it was a number 2 pencil, and the number 2 pencil turned into a more like a ruler and a Sharpie. And then I went through and kind of added some different kind of design elements to it. But I knew that I wanted some type of undergrip on here that felt really comfortable in the hand. Something that was rubberized, because nobody's ever done rubberization on the bottom of a grip. So I thought, what if we can rubberize this? That helps with just overall grip, reducing fatigue, but also, again, aesthetically looks good with the rest of the line, unknowing what that would even look like. I just knew that I wanted to start here and I wanted to see what was going to happen. And so it kind of started off as a pretty simple design. I'd probably call it like maybe relatively masculine, somewhat aggressive looking, but the grip points really made a big difference. And knowing that this was eventually going to be made out of an impact resistant plastic, I knew that this was going to be a really just durable and really foolproof design, especially with the stainless steel internals. So this is kind of where we started out. And for what it's worth, we went through, I don't even know, 20 different quick disconnects on the market that existed. People think that maybe we just picked the one that we have on there. No, I literally can't tell you how many boxes of quick disconnects that we have. It's actually like crazy. I'll touch more on that here in a little bit, but yeah, so it started off just very kind of a crude format, and we knew that this was kind of the base design of how this would eventually be. But that again was a drawing on cardboard and was eventually cut out. And I literally would even take just a normal spray gun that we had and kind of like held it up to it, and I'm like looking at the team, how does this look, guys? Like, does this look pretty cool? And everybody's like, yeah, you weirdo, it's a cardboard, what are you doing, right? And go figure, right? After all this time, it eventually turned into that. So that was one of the first things. Also, the nozzle, which I have a 3D print of the nozzle. I don't know where I put it. I put it somewhere. But it's, anyways, that existed. It was a 3D print, but obviously that was also drawn on paper as well. And the nozzle, you can kind of see right here, that design portion, if you look at kind of the base design there, like that little kind of castle type of thing, I think we were in SEMA. I think we're at SEMA, and I was driving by the, what's it called, the Castle Camelot, right? And I looked at the top, and I goes, oh, I kind of like how the, the castles always have those kind of like, whatever you want to call them, that design at the top, trapezoid type of thing. Dane, what is that shape called?
A turret.
A turret. And I liked the way that looked, and I thought that would be a cool grip on the bottom. And so I just kind of drew that, and then I looked at the Rag Company logo, and I was like, hey, it kind of looks like we have like our logo upside down, but those are like the little pieces of the fibers. So we kind of did that, and then eventually obviously textured that, added a smooth lip, raised logo, and initially it was going to be a 2-piece design there on the stainless steel, going through the internals there, but then eventually we were able to kind of sandwich that together into the shroud to be able to help minimize it and make it look a lot nicer. And so in a testament to the team over at OG, because that's kind of where I took a little bit of inspiration from, and we just didn't know if that was going to be possible with that particular design, and it worked out, and I think it looks pretty cool. So anyways, but that was pretty much the nozzle there, and getting into the It's a ray gun. So this is funny. I don't even know what version this is. There were so many, guys, there are so many versions of this that this is, I don't know, 15, 16, I'm not sure. There's a whole box of just leftovers over there. I just grabbed this one because it had kind of some cool colors on it. So this right here started off also as a drawing, and I knew that what I wanted to do is have those side plates actually eventually, like just like that right there, be able to mock up to the wand itself and have that, when it connected, create the rest of that design and kind of finish that off. And that was my starting point. The rest of everything just kind of came to matching that original drawing of having kind of those upper kind of chambered looking things there at the top, and then the side plates also came together. But the rubberization points, you know, I knew where I wanted rubber, but it wasn't particularly finalized. My trigger was not perfect yet, but I knew from the get-go that I wanted a built-in nozzle holder there to be able to make that work. And so, yeah, kind of funny. I mean, that drawing was from multiple years ago. Yeah, like years and years and years ago. I don't know how many years ago it was now. Two and a half years ago, something like that. But you can see this was before we even knew we wanted an auto-lock quick disconnect. This is before we knew what kind of swivel we were going to have. The trigger lock was kind of a different style than the other styles that had existed, and that came together. And it's funny because this particular prototype right here has it built in, and it doesn't work very well. Like, it's kind of like jank. But then eventually we figured out, you know, how that was going to work. So yeah, this gun, the thickness of this one, laughably thick, right? I know we joke around about my hand size, but like truthfully, I was like, you know, does this feel too girthy? I was like, walk to the other guys. I'm like, hey, put my handle in your hand, and they're like, why? You're weird. And I'm like, please, just, is that too thick? And they go, no, that feels right. I'm like, I think it feels a little too thick, just a little bit. So then we, obviously, you know, we thinned it out and whatnot, but wanted to show you that.
We got people wondering if these glow in the dark because they see the color and they're like,
No,
reminds me of when I was a kid and you had.
No, I wish they did. Maybe. Never
Well,
know. H2O
throwing it out
Dark
there.
Edition. Wait for it. Coming soon. So all this quickly kind of get through there. I know I'm kind of rambling here, but like it was a really fun process, to be honest. Like, this was probably some of the most fun I had kind of had. And also, most of this was done when I had undergone a back injury. So I had to get obviously a back surgery, but like I was on the floor for upwards of about 3 months, and most of the design, the drawing, the going back and forth was actually done with me laying on the floor, believe it or not. And eventually it, you know, that got fixed and it got better, but I would say, you know, I didn't know what light at the end of the tunnel there was until eventually I got there, and I was like stoked on it. So anyways, but we'll move on. Foam cannon here. So the base of the foam cannon and the top of the foam cannon, these are really two important parts here, because what we knew we wanted were these detent mechanisms, right? We knew that the detents at the top were going to be important, but the detents there at the 360-degree rotation and at the tip were something that had never been done before, and something that we're going to take a little bit of, I mean, I don't want to say a little bit, a lot of engineering to be able to figure this out and understand how we can make this work in a pretty way. Because I'm not going to lie to you guys, that's pretty hideous. I don't think that looks very good. But this was, again, one of the first functional versions of having a detent mechanism built in. So you can actually feel each one of these clicks as I'm going around, and even here on the top. But we actually had an exposed outer detent mechanism here on the top to start. This was not a hidden detent, this was an exposed detent, which is why there's this ridge here. Because we knew we wanted the clicks here, but in order to make that happen, you obviously need a friction point there, and something with a little bit of give. The best way to do that, it seemed initially, was putting this kind of a hump. Well, that was initially the plan until eventually we said, well, let's make the knob bigger, right? This knob is still too small. We could probably go a little bit larger. So by going larger, now we can actually hide the detent mechanism on the inside of the knob itself. And from there, the rest of the design kind of started taking place once the actual nozzle was designed, right? So once the nozzle was designed with those, again, those little castle, what do we call them? Turrets, right? Once those were created, everything else started coming into play with the rest of that tip design, and like it formed. It was just that particular part. it's almost like I blacked out, and then like eventually I was like, oh my gosh, we have something cool. This is great. So anyways, want to highlight that. And then the quarter turn lid here with this particular bottle, legible. I mean, very, very legible measurement system here, right? This was the first thing that we put on here. Laughably large measurements because we didn't want to mess around with having people squint to think like, how much should I fill this up with? Where do I go from there? And the quarter turn lid we knew was a system that worked well, right? Is it a wearable item? It is, and I'll touch up on that here just a little bit. But realistically, for the price point to be able to produce that, it made the most sense to be able to do that rather than try to do a full screw on top or do a small cap screw on. We had a couple different versions of this. I mean, this is again probably the, I don't know, the 5th or 6th version of this before we eventually got to this point. But we knew that this was kind of a tried and true method. It worked well. It made the most frustrating part of filling up a foam cannon, which was the, obviously the mouth of it, made that easier. And we were able to obviously save time. And that's where a detailer's most important thing that they have is time.
Hey, Anthony, I got a quick question just because this is one, I've got a boatload of comments saved in the queue. Many are questions regarding development, but I think specifically regarding that foam cannon canister itself. Why isn't there like a clear option? We see this come up time and time again. Now, I know the answer, you know the answer, but can you explain a little bit about why we went with the finish we did? Because I have, no joke, like 20 questions regarding that.
Yeah, I guess I can just answer it right now. No problem. So take a look here. So if we have the foam cannon right here, you're going to notice that this has the frosted bottle, right? So when it comes to manufacturing, there's a couple of different bottle options when it comes to a foam cannon bottle itself, right? And the most common ones are PET and HDPE. So PET is going to be those beautiful clear bottles, right? The Nalgene style look, whether it's crystal clear, maybe it's tinted, maybe it's blue, maybe it's red, purple, green, a lot of different colors. But if it looks like a Nalgene bottle, it's PET, right? So PET bottles, they are sexy as all get out. Let's be honest, they look great, right? You can clearly see the liquid inside of them. But here's what PET bottles are. They are beautiful, but here's what they are not, chemical resistant. So modern day PET bottles, as good as they can look and as thick as you can actually make a PET bottle, it is never truly chemical resistant across the scale of all automotive detailing products. Meaning that they're safe for mild acids, for sure. They're safe for pH balanced shampoos, for sure. But they are not safe for higher alkaline products, meaning that once you get to somewhere over the scale of a pH of 12, that's when degradation of the PET bottle starts happening. And degradation doesn't happen in seconds or in minutes or in your first couple of uses, but it happens after a while. Happens due to UV exposure, happens due to UV exposure with chemical inside of it, happens due to heat fluctuations, cold fluctuations, and all of that. Ultimately, PET bottles are not durable long term. And I know this personally because PET bottles were very much a part of the testing that we did with the foam cannon development. We had these bottles made in PET, or we had a run of bottles made in PET that we used for testing. And as good as they looked, unfortunately, they were not chemical resistant to what the industry required. Real detailers out there that are going to be using alkaline products quite literally daily need an HDPE bottle, because not only is it going to be extremely excessively more chemical resistant, but it's also going to be more durable in terms of drop resistance, because HDPE will dent, it's very unlikely to crack, right? And so, with that said, with PET bottles, through chemical exposure, through temperature changes, as well as UV exposure, that material can become brittle. And the last thing you want to happen is for you to drop your foam cannon and have the bottle shatter into pieces. And at certain price points, there's a reason why PET bottles are chosen, because HDPE bottles are more expensive.
So would it be, maybe I'm way out of line here, but just safe to say, if somebody went for the better looking bottle, it might just be for aesthetics and not for performance?
100%.
if that's the route you're going to take. I mean, there's a reason we went this direction, and durability was the name of the game from top to bottom when making this product. Obviously, there's a lot of considerations along the way, but Anthony, I, as someone who was like kind of on the wings of this, you were leading the charge and all this, I saw how many revisions you went through. It was insane. Like you took ideas, things that, everybody who's, our armchair quarterback kind of looking at stuff going, well, I would have done this. And it's just like, oh, well, if you weren't aware, we actually did consider that. And in testing, didn't make sense.
Yeah. So the reason why most more affordable foam cannons on the market, right, will have a PET bottle, again, probably due to curb appeal. It looks better in photos, looks better in video, and it can be cheaper to produce. That's it. That's basically it. And so an HDPE bottle, again, basically bulletproof. I mean, really, the only thing that's going to wear down an HDPE bottle is, I don't know, running it over. I mean, maybe, but if you run it over, you might put it out in the sun and it might go back to normal. I mean, like literally. I mean, that's how durable HDPE bottles are. It's kind of insane, and so that's why we went with that decision. And trust me, I had analysis paralysis on this because I said, what if people don't think it's sexy if it has a frosted bottle? And I asked everybody here in the office, and it all came down to, is it sexy or is it functional? And we said it's functional, and that's why we did it. So anyways, but we actually had quite a few different ways to frost the HDPE bottle, and we had different options here to go super dark, or we could go lighter. We actually went with kind of the medium light scale. Any lighter than this, and it kind of started having a little bit of a yellow tint to it, so we went with the coolest color temperature that we could go with that would essentially make this look, it would make it look really appealing, but also still be readable and still be able to see liquids inside of it. So if you just literally put a liquid inside of it and you just hold it up to a light, most people in your garage shop, the sun itself is a source of light. If you just hold that up just ever so subtly there, you will see the liquid inside of it.
I worry about what's being done to my car if someone can't see enough in there.
I mean, you can clearly see it, but I mean, if people are really like, I cannot see it, then I would just, I mean, literally, you could, take your phone and just literally just go, okay, that's very clear. What I'm trying to say is you can see it in broad daylight, you can see it in the shop, you can do all of that, you can see water, you can see all of it. It's just, again, when you're comparing it to a less durable PET bottle, then I guess there's really no comparison. But again, less durable PET bottle. And what a review won't tell you about a PET bottle is what a review won't tell you. Because if you watch a review online and somebody's reviewing a foam cannon, they say, oh, it's got a PET bottle and it looks amazing, right? Well, it's going to look amazing for them, and it's going to look amazing probably within the first few videos. But if they're using it daily, weekly, monthly, every single day, every single hour, you name it, then eventually they will have an issue with durability, and it will crack and it will break, and that's the end of it, right? So what's that? A star that burns the brightest, whatever the star, whatever the heck whatever that is, Dane.
The star that burns twice as bright lasts half as long.
Yeah, but instead of like half as long, it's like a tenth as long. So I want to clear that up for people who have questions about bottles and whether or not that was considered. We did consider it, and to be honest, we actually considered it really for the wrong reasons. And I hate to say that, but basically, if we knew we produced a PET bottle, then we knew that we could sell you more replacement bottles in the long run because of breakages and due to things like that, right? We knew that, but we're not going to do that because we're honest people. So that's basically.
Now, before we get too lost down the rabbit hole on that one, because I know that was a big point and definitely something you try your hardest to think of everything before you release a product after years of consideration. It is something that you just have to contend with when you find out, oh, this is what people are focused on. And the nice thing about actually being there for the entire development process, you can speak to exactly why the decisions made were made. But I want to touch on some of the other features we have as well with these products, just for people who are just joining in, maybe missed the fact about some of the features of the gun, the wand, all that goodness. So if you want to kind of like do a rehash here, just for people who are just getting in here and aren't familiar with everything just yet.
So let's go and break it down really quick. So we have other products here on the table, obviously, but I do want to just quickly touch upon the foam cannon while it's in front of me. So again, talking about some of the features here, we're going to have the detent mechanisms throughout. I kind of talked about this in the development process, but we knew that this top knob here would eventually be larger to hide the hidden detent, right? So you can hear that here at the top. Some people may wonder, you know, is this something you're going to set it and forget it? 100%. Do you need to have a dilution of your soap? We find that if you don't have a dilution for your soap, people would complain that there's no dilution for your soap. If we do have a dilution for their soap, people will wonder, why is there a dilution for your soap, right? You can either dilute your soap by hand via measuring it in your own container if you want to do it that way, or you can dilute it based on what you would want to pull in terms of your water to soap ratio here at the top. Now, we also have the detents throughout the 360 degrees, which eventually turned into a rubberized portion itself. So we actually rubberize this from a grip standpoint, and then the tip here is also going to have your detents to adjust your width. Now, what's awesome about this foam cannon is that it's extremely easy to maintain and replace filters on. You're literally going to pop off this U-clip right here. It's going to come out with a flathead screwdriver. This whole tip portion is going to come out, and then what you can do is just take a fine little screwdriver, push the filters out, and then put some new ones in, and you can swap the filters in a matter of really, I mean, about a minute or so. So the features of the foam cannon, again, the detents are one of the biggest things, the wide mouth, the bottle itself, being HDPE, and then obviously having all of your different adjustments, probably more than you're ever going to need, and then being able to set it and forget it, meaning that the next time you pick up that foam cannon, literally that second you set it down and pick it back up, that foam isn't going to be spraying sideways or diagonal or however. You're going to be able to remember where that was and get right back to foaming how you enjoyed using it. Now, again, you'll be able to swap out your orifice size. So for any reason that the 1.1 and the 1.2 that we included here in the box do not work with your pressure washer, well, great news, it's a standard fitting. It's a standard orifice size for most pressure washers, meaning that you can swap it out with the 1.3, 1.45, or whatever you may need to do by simply removing the quarter turn here at the rear. That's going to pop out, and your orifice is going to be right there, basically right there in the middle. And you're going to take a flathead, you're going to zip that bad boy out, and you're going to put the one that your heart desires inside there, and you are back to foaming with no issues. But eventually coming here to the rag company and some of the first line of accessories, we will have larger orifice sizes if you want to, use one of ours in the Ultra H2O system. So zipping that bad boy back on. The next thing I want to talk about for future accessories here, we will be offering replacement bottles and lids. This is actually going to be a combo, meaning that if you buy a replacement bottle, you're going to get a free lid. Free. You get your own lid. You don't have to buy the lid separately.
That's awesome. I had a bunch of people asking about lids for the cannon, so
you're not only going to get you're going to get the bottle, you're going to get a lid, and you're going to get a gasket for that lid. Meaning that now whatever you store in there should be relatively airtight, and you're not going to have any leaks. And they're exceptionally affordable. That's the whole point. We knew that with the bottles, we wanted to make these affordable for most people if you do have to replace it, or if you're wanting to store more chemical. Again, this is going to be a friction fit, meaning that maybe with time, right, the HDPE being a slightly softer plastic, maybe the tabs could eventually wear to the point where maybe you're not getting that super, super tight seal like you once got. No problem. That is in the bottle itself, which is going to be the more affordable piece to replace amongst the entire line if you separate, obviously, the top from the bottom here. So, and as a bonus, you get a lid with it, so you'll be able to store more chemical. So that is going to be the foam cannon. And if Dane, if that's cool, I'll move on to the spray gun really quick.
Absolutely. And then I got some more questions for you when you have a little break point. But I want to let you do the overview before we touch on all that.
Cool. So Ultra H2O spray gun. Obviously, again, I kind of mentioned over there, this is going to be kind of the foundation of the line. This is kind of the starting point here, and really where I think like the best experience starts. Again, a lot of people love foam cannons. They love nozzles and all that stuff. But genuinely, this is probably what changed the way that I how I started washing. I'm one of those guys. I set things down, I set nozzles down, I forget where the heck I put them. I spend 5 minutes looking for them while I'm stressed about the water drying on the car in direct sunlight as the cloud passes over, and I just sprayed the wheels with my favorite wheel cleaner, and I'm about to have an absolute mental breakdown. Oh. Sorry,
Nice.
I was just, so I don't know why I went into such detail there. So anyways, basically what I'm trying to say is the nozzle holder changed that game for me dramatically. I mean, literally being able to put my nozzle in here after I'm done rinsing between switching to a foam cannon has been amazing, but it's more than just that, right? So stainless steel internals throughout the entire Ultra H2O line, right? This includes the foam cannon, this includes the gun here. These are all serviceable, meaning that if you want to tear this gun apart, by all means, you can tear it apart. You don't need to, but you can if you want to. The stainless steel internals are held together by a watertight sealer from the factory, and then obviously more Teflon tape. If for any reason anything were to ever leak, you can break the sealer with just a little bit of heat and a little bit of elbow grease, and you can pull those apart. You can re-Teflon tape them. You can reseal them if you want to. You can also re-Teflon fittings as needed to be able to swap things out. Now this is going to have impact-resistant plastic body here. It's going to have your rubberized grip points. You're going to have your trigger lockout, and you're also going to have your trigger lock here on the bottom. Now the trigger lock is an optional thing. We are not forcing you to use your trigger lock. Nobody is holding the spray gun to your head and saying, use the trigger lock. You don't have to do that because it's a two-handed operation. It's uncomfortable to try to do it with one hand, and most people aren't going to be able to do it. It requires you to pull the trigger and take your other hand, push up, and then release, right? That's kind of a process. You can do it with one hand, but again, it's really not comfortable, and your pinkies need to be pretty strong to be able to do it, and then you can kind of like, let go and do that. But I can already feel the carpal tunnel kicking in. So, we did this because, again, we want this to be a safe gun for most people to use. And if for any reason this is in the hands of somebody that you don't feel should be using it with a trigger lock, well, I got good news for you. You can completely remove the trigger lock assembly. It's very easy. You can undo the screws here on the back of the gun, zip it off, literally just pull the trigger lock out. Gone. Just be a small little hole there. That's it. Just take it out. You don't have to ever use it. Nobody's forcing you to use it. But to be honest, I think it's probably one of the best things about this. And again, if you have practice safety and you know the basics of using a pressure washer, to be honest, if you're even using a pressure washer in the first place, and you feel like that's a liability for anybody to be using a pressure washer, that's already the starting point. Don't do it. But if you feel confident using a pressure washer and you feel confident using the lock, by all means use it. If you don't want to, simply take it out. Now you're gonna have your rubberized grip here on the inside. Why did we do this? Because oftentimes when you're handling the gun, moving it around, you just may be grabbing it just like this, right? And you want a good grip on it. You don't want to be dropping it. Nozzle holder is going to be built in here into the base, again, with the replaceable O-ring. So for this, we're going to grab our nozzle, and this is just a press fit in. Just like that. So between rinsing and swapping out the foam cannon, you can just go ahead and lock this in, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's really, you can't. I am hitting the, okay. Ow, that actually kind of hurt my hand a little bit. Oh, okay. All right, so don't do that, but yeah, basically it's not going anywhere. Once it's locked in there, that thing is locked in there and it's nice and snug. It also is cool because if you want to and you want to prop up your gun and stare at it from a distance, you can actually just set it like that. To be honest, that was an unintentional design feature. Did not know it was going to do that. And it did, and we were like, that's freaking awesome. And sweet. Wasn't that cool, right? I thought that was awesome. I'm like, how did that happen like that, right? I guess that makes sense. So anyways, so pulling this off of here, right? Again, you're gonna have the stainless screws here on the back side in case you ever do have to service it. And then the swivel, right? Everybody wants to know, how good does the swivel work? Well, the swivel works like a good swivel. 360-degree rotation. You can whip this bad boy around, pressurized, unpressurized, whatever you want to do, man. You can have at it. You want to hang this thing from your ceiling fan and spin on it? By all means, get after it.
Anthony, you're talking swivel. I have questions about swivel.
Cool.
Would you like to elaborate on swivel?
Yeah.
Let's get Ninja up here. Ninja saying, question, did I miss why the rag company chose not to go with a swivel lower in profile or built into the handle, etc.?
Correct. So that's actually a great question. So we wanted to make this swivel a about as easy to use as possible. So when you have a hidden swivel or you have a hidden base of a swivel, right? You know what that means? It means that you can't put a freaking wrench on this thing and zip off that 1/4-inch adapter right there, or that fitting, I should say. Do you know how frustrating that is? You have to take the whole freaking plastic housing apart just to tighten something down. F that. That sucks, right? I would rather that thing be exposed, and I want to be able to fit the most freaking manly wrench in existence on that thing, and I want to be able to torque that bad boy off and feel like the man that I am, right? When people hide that, or people try to, recess this into the gun, yeah, it may look kind of sleek, but from a functional standpoint and from a pro standpoint, like, why would I ever want that, right? If I drop this and this dents, or this breaks, or for some reason, maybe it's just a bad leak, or maybe, again, it's gouged, I want to be able to service the freaking gun, right? This, again, goes back to the proprietary stew. Why the heck would we want to add more proprietary stew to an already full pot of crap stew when we can just go, sorry, I'm getting frustrated now, when we can actually make a serviceable swivel, right? Something that you can actually take the fitting off of and make it really, really nice. But basically, this swivel is exceptionally smooth. It's going to have a very long service life. If you want to pull the complete swivel apart, by all means, you can. You want to re-grease it? Guess what? You can. I don't recommend doing that, but if you wanted to and you wanted to throw some absolute sauce inside there, you can. But again, I think that this right here is going to last the lifetime of most people. And for the last, I think, I don't know, this particular swivel's been on the gun now for the last 10 months, but we had about 4 different swivel designs in general. About 4.5 is what I'll call it, because there was a half point that we didn't even go any further. We just said, no, it was get away from there. But basically, we knew the swivel that we wanted. We knew that this was going to be the most robust, durable swivel possible. And the other question people have is, why would you have it to where it's about roughly 1 3/4 inches long, right? What connects to that? Nothing? Air? No, an effing hose connects to this, right? So when people go, I wish it was shorter. Is your hose, does it end? Do you have a hose mod I'm not aware of? Does the hose go into the wall? I mean, the hose is on the bottom of this, right? And it's this part swiveling. I don't understand that. Anyways, but no,
I think there's a point where people just want to have something to talk about, right?
You want to be involved.
It's just something to talk about.
You want to be involved. I get it. I want you to be involved, right? But let's do it in like a positive way, right? So anyways, cool. I'm open to ideas. I love constructive criticism. If there's anything that's like super valid, obviously reach out to us. Like we love to hear ideas, truthfully. But if you're gonna complain, then I don't really, that doesn't really help anybody, right? So anyways, so popping that back in, let's go ahead and grab the wand here really quick. So the wand, again, rubberized undergrip, impact resistant plastics. It's going to have your stainless steel fitting throughout with your stainless steel locking nut here at the tip, and then you're going to have your auto lock quick disconnect. So this is, again, a really comprehensive system. If you just want to buy the spray gun and the spray wand itself, you can literally just click that bad boy in and you are good to go. Take your nozzle out, attach your nozzle here to the tip, and you are literally ready to start washing probably within about a minute after unboxing everything, because that's, again, how this was all designed to be used. And so it feels awesome in the hand. Again, we're going to showcase this here in just a minute. I do know that people had questions about the last thing I want to talk about, which is going to be the nozzle itself. So the nozzles. So we have launched the line with 3 different orifice sizes of the nozzles. We have a 3.0, 4.0, and 5.0. This is going to suit the needs of probably 98.5% of the market with the particular pressure washers that are out there right now. There's going to be a few people that are going to need a 6.0 eventually down the line, and we are actually currently working on that. So we know that that's not going to be a massive seller, but we know that it's worth probably stocking at some point to be able to offer for many of you out there. And so with a 6.0, that should be able to solve most of people's issues if you ever to run into one. But I understand that there's people out there that are concerned based on the launch comments that we saw that maybe that their particular nozzle may not fit into the auto lock quick disconnect. So to quickly address that, there's going to be certain nozzles out there that are on the market that are, I will call them, semi-proprietary, or we'll call them they have their own particular design cues, right? And those particular design cues are really of that particular brand itself, right? That is not a standardized fitting for the entire industry. Now, when it came to choosing our particular nozzle, we knew that our 1/4 inch was going to be a standard size fitting, meaning it was going to be able to fit into virtually every single quick disconnect out on the market, including our Autolock quick disconnects, because again, this is a standard fitting type. But there's going to be brands out there that use proprietary styles where maybe they add about 1/8 of an inch to the tip of their particular adapter, right? And that right there is their own personal decision to do that. But again, that's more proprietary stew of already literally overflowing crap. We didn't need to do that. So we made this be a standardized nozzle that fits into the Autolock quick disconnect beautifully, and it works just like that. Now, if for any reason, at the end of the day, you refuse to let go of your favorite nozzle, I get it. You want to use that for the rest of your life, you're married to it. Understand, you can just swap over your quick disconnect adapter to the gun or the wand. You can do that.
Wait. You're saying
do
people were, they thought, oh, the fitting won't fit, so there's no way it'll work, and what you're saying is actually just swap off that QD and suddenly
you can just swap that
use
over.
Their own?
Literally takes pretty much no effort. You can just swap that over. So if, for example, if your quick
There goes
disconnect,
that argument.
if your quick disconnect looks like that bad boy right there, right? You can just take that off and you can just put that on there. You can give the Autolock quick disconnect to like a friend or somebody. That's it. So just saying that applies to the gun, applies to the spray wand. You can just go ahead and just zip this bad boy off right here. And as long as you have a male threaded fitting, it's going to go right into that bad boy. And then after you do that, you then take your nozzle, your favorite nozzle, you click it in, or I should say go like this, and then press up, and you're done. That's it. So I think it's time to actually use this stuff. So Jimmy, hey, what do you say we go take these bad boys for a spin?
Oh, we're doing more than just talking about them?
Yeah, we're going to do more than just talking, Dane.
Oh, cool.
We are,
All right.
I think we're going to be laying down some foam here in just a second, but I want to use this opportunity to obviously answer more questions. I know that sometimes I get a little spicy, but I'm not trying to get spicy. I'm just trying to say that, hey, I'm pretty crazy. I am mentally unwell at times because of how much I overthink things, and I really try to do things to the best of my ability. And again, this comes back to the effort card, right? Maximum amounts of effort and maximum amounts of education to be able to put good stuff out there into the world. And hopefully, good stuff is always returned. And I find that here with what we do at the Rag Company, Dane, has that plan ever not worked for us?
Oh, no, it works every time.
No, we just put good out into the world, and we treat people with honesty and respect, and it just works for us.
Well, you respect people by, speaking to them in a way that doesn't feel condescending, like you're actually putting information out there.
Don't say that. I was kind of being condescending a minute ago, so don't do that.
Already put you on the spot.
You're praising something that I was a monster a minute ago, but here's the thing, I can honestly admit that. I got a little frustrated. I apologize. Mother, if you're watching this, I am sorry you did not raise me to be that way. Carolyn, if you're watching this, you did not raise me and Dane to be that way. So that's Dane's mom watching. So anyways, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get this mixed up here. So we're going to go ahead and grab our foam cannon here. We're going to throw in some water. And what I think we're going to do is not spill and make a giant mess, but I can clearly see that I'm mixing my water right now, and I have 800 milliliters of water in because I can, at my angle, I can see this beautifully. At that particular angle, maybe not. So 800 milliliters of water in, and I'm going to go ahead and take GSF. And we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of TRC dilution spec. What are we doing?
We're doing the glug method?
I don't even know if we're doing glug method. We're just going to go like that.
Just pinching a lever, okay.
I'm going to go like another 100 mils. Okay, that was maybe a little bit more than 100 mils. That was like 150 mils. Sorry about that.
You know what? I've got a comment here. I got to pull up on the screen because this is something we haven't actually really talked about through this whole thing. The Legacy asking, what's the price on this unit? So if you want to break it down so that people understand, like,
Yeah.
the individual parts versus just getting the whole bundle. Because I think that's going to be a source of interest for people. Oh, my, wow. The camera picks it up.
Well, I just literally just needed a light source. We're here in the studio, or you kind of, I mean, like, honestly, all the lights like downward facing. So I'm just showing you, if I just put it up against,
Okay.
actually I'm going to dump a little bit out. I put a little bit too much in. There we go.
Well, and to anybody
that?
who goes, oh, yeah, but I don't have a bright light like that. Yes, you do. It's called the sun.
Yeah, I said that argument earlier, Dane. It still may
Well,
not
you
be
know,
good
I'm just
enough.
throwing it out there again.
It may
just
not
in
be
case.
good enough for those people that we
I was
have
trying to lay it in there for
this
the
beautiful
condescending
source of
point. I really
vitamin
wanted
D.
to
Anyways,
spice it up.
moving on. Okay, so Dane, I know you like when we have fun like this. I know you do, but like again, you can't get me all excited. So, so price of this unit. So we didn't really talk pricing. So you can actually head to theradcompany.com right now, and you can scroll down, and you're going to see that everything is probably more affordable than what you think. So the Ultra H2O Complete Kit, which is going to include literally everything. Including your own choice of nozzle, whether it's a 3.0, 4.0, or 5.0 orifice size, for $184. I think that this is the most competitively priced pressure washing accessory line that is available. And I say that proudly and confidently, that I think it's going to be pretty hard to beat for the price. Next up here, we do have some individuals that if you want to buy things separately, because I understand that not everybody may want to replace everything, and that's totally fine as well. So if you want to go buy individual pieces, you can do that. So the spray gun itself is $79, and this is just going to include just the gun itself ready to go right outside of the box. The H2O foam cannon is going to be $69, again, ready to go right outside of the box. The Ultra H2O spray wand is $39, ready to go outside of the box. And then the nozzle itself is going to be $17, ready to go right outside of the box. And you can buy multiple nozzles if you feel like your setup needs that, but for the most part, that's just like a one and done purchase, and you are pretty much well on your way. So again, man, I'm super proud of the system, super proud of the pricing, super proud of I mean, like literally everything that came together. But I want people to know that this was a lot of work. I mean, the entire company, the entire team, it's a ton of work. The entire team right now shipping out every single one of these orders, it is a ton of work. And we waited years for this to happen, and it's pretty amazing. So, all right, grabbing foam cannon, we're gonna go ahead and grab our pressure washer, and Carson, I'm grabbing the one in the back, right? Pressure washing gun. Okay, let's do this. Dane, any other questions?
Oh, I have literally like 8 pages of questions, but let me throw a few out there. You get to work. I'll go ahead and just grab. Let's throw up Tabris here saying, is there a lot of play between the wand and the gun? So wondering if there's like a little jostle, a little play, because they're wondering with the QDs if that affects, the hold at all.
There's actually pretty minimal play. So I mean, like I can show you here on the foam cannon to the QD. So you can see that's about as much play as you're going to get. And then obviously once you start actually using the product, that play, I don't want to say virtually goes away, but I mean basically once it's pressurized, it's going to be not noticeable at all whatsoever. And so the wand is the same exact thing, and I'll show you kind of the cool feature about the wand here in a minute in terms of the balanced nature of it and why we like it so much. But let's go ahead. We got some GSF mixed up. We got Max Foam here. Make our adjustment there, and let's go ahead and foam up this Tacoma. So start here in the rear, and we'll do a quick little test our thickness. Think about right there. So every single adjustment point here on the foam cannon is going to have a different width. And I want to actually show this to you in real time on Carson's truck here, because this is something that took a lot of literally a lot of fine tuning to do, because when it comes to a detent, there's no real detent system that's perfect, but a detent system that has an adjustment range from narrow to wide, also very hard to do, right? Especially very hard to do on a mass production scale. So I'll kind of show you what that looks like here. So I'm going to go ahead and back this out to its most narrow form, which is going to be its most stream form, right? So doing a quick shot here, you can see that is a stream of foam. Next click over, actually I'm going to do 2 clicks over for the size of the truck. A little bit wider, 2 clicks over. Wider, 2 clicks over. 2 clicks over. 2 clicks over, and actually there's 1 click left. And you can see the width of everything there. So
that's a really good illustration of it, actually.
It basically shows you that every single adjustment point is to the notch of how wide you want this stream to be, which I think has been something that I've been like dying for pretty much forever. Again, this is all came down to really doing all the industry research to find that perfect sweet spot. So let's go ahead and actually foam it. So, as you can see, this produces some pretty lustrous foam, like very lustrous foam. Sorry about the foam cannon. We just replaced the CR spotless filters like literally just an hour ago, and I think that Carson forgot to plug something in. He's looking at me right now. And I think you're getting pure water on your truck, Carson. I think, maybe, possibly. But anyways, so the foam looks amazing. It really, really does. I mean, again, this tri-filter system that we have built into the gun. I didn't really talk about that a whole lot in terms of the foam cannon. But what this is a sandwich system. So we have 2 of your stainless steel filters that are sandwiched between, more of your kind of cotton natural filter that's going to be in the middle there. Now, the filters themselves, obviously all wearable items or things that can eventually have buildup. But if your water quality is decent, your chemical quality is good, there's no reason why this filter system shouldn't be lasting you, I mean, probably well over a year. And down the road here, very soon, we will have the full foam cannon filter replacement bag, which is actually going to include everything you need to rebuild the foam cannon itself, which is going to include every single nozzle, or every single gasket, I should say, the O-rings, and all of that. So in one bag, you're going to have a new pickup tube, you're going to have filters, you're going to have that. So also being very, very affordable, this is going to essentially come out to being maybe like a once-a-year maintenance thing on the foam cannon, but to ensure that this thing functions like new pretty much for forever. Yeah.
I've got Chingy Blingy here wondering, I might have missed it, but are the filters just a steel mesh puck or mesh plus foam? He just wants to know the details.
Yep. So you're going to be two steel mesh pucks sandwiched between the one more cotton style filter, and it's pretty legit. I mean, we've been using this now for the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, and it's been freaking killer. It's been so awesome, and we have not been good about swapping out the filters on purpose because we wanted to see what exactly would happen with higher alkalinity, with acids, and all sorts of different stuff that would normally clog those up. So again, really, really good looking foam. I'm just going to give Carson a second. He's tightening down the old spotless. The old spotless thing.
I've got David here wondering about bigger orifice sizes.
Yep.
Just wondering, like 6.0, 7.0.
Yeah, so 6.0 would be the next version that would come, but just keep in mind that, producing a 6.0 is not a massive feat. It's not something that's not like, I don't want to say hard to do. The design is already ours. Really, we're looking at replacing a very small portion of a nozzle to obviously make it a 6.0. It really comes down to how many 6.0s are actually going to be needed by the market itself. Based on all the market research I've done, I would say it's going to be 1% of people out there that would need a 6.0. I think most detailer enthusiasts that are really up to date on the latest and greatest in pressure washers may want that or may need that, but when it comes to pretty much detailers that are detailing every single day, it's just not going to be as common. But with that said, we will produce a 6.0 very soon.
Now, I really want Really Good Auto Detailing's comment here because I feel like this is your chance, Anthony, to go off. Besides the clicks, what, in your opinion, sets your foam cannon apart from all the other heavy hitters on the market? And there definitely are a few.
So what I think in general, when you're talking about what sets it apart, because again, we're not trying to necessarily recreate the wheel here. We're really just trying to show people kind of a new wheel setup. So my favorite things about this, and the things that I think set it apart, again, being able to set it and forget it, the detail adjustments. I think that people are kind of like, I don't want to say underselling themselves on it, but I think you have to actually use it. And once you use it, you go, ah, crap, I can't go back. Like I had for a period of time a foam cannon at my house that did not have any D10 adjustments, during the whole development. And when I would use that at home, I would go, I want my foam cannon back, right? Like I want to be back at work using that one. And so it is kind of an experience thing. You kind of have to see what I mean by setting it and forgetting it, because you have to understand how much time you spend fiddling around with that thing, like foaming it and being like, where was that last thing? You don't have to think about that anymore. But the foam quality itself with the sandwich filter system is pretty impressive. So that's something that I want everybody to experience as well, because you're going to see the thickness of the foam, but also how much cleaner the foam stays for longer. And we've tested this particular foam cannon now with so many different types of different protector style waxes out there and different types of protector style foams. Now with protector style foams that usually contain some form of resin and or some type of silica, basically what's going to happen is you're going to get clogging of the filters. The more often you use those, the more often they get clogged, right? So I tell people avoid that when you can, but we found out of this tri-system is that those filters were surviving longer than they've ever survived in any other foam cannon that we've tested here and benchmarked to be able to create this. And so if you are a fan of using that, then I would feel right at home, not being super worried about ruining those filters almost immediately. You're going to get a long working time out of those. But on top of that, I think durability, man, this thing's freaking, it's an exceptionally durable foam cannon, and if you want to see it get dropped from a second story, you can go check out the Cars with Key YouTube video. So we're going to go ahead and grab our wand here in a second. Where did I put that thing? Oh, it's right over here. Sorry about that. I'm finding that I'm wearing a different pair of shoes, and I don't know what the heck I'm doing with my life, right? You know what I mean? So go ahead. I didn't even realize I had a gun over here. So let's go and grab the gun. Grab this bad boy. Go ahead and plug this thing in, and we are ready to rock and roll. I'm going to show you here, right? So that's pretty much about the amount of play that you'd be looking for in terms of how much play you would see. It's very minimal, and once it's pressurized, it pretty much goes away. So grabbing my nozzle here, and we're going to go ahead and grab so we're going to be running a 5.0 nozzle here on this Krenzel setup, and I'm going to go ahead and click this on. Now, what I like about this particular system is, again, once you actually hit that trigger lock, if you have the right size orifice for your pressure washer and you've pretty much locked in that perfect 1000 PSI for pressure washing, which is pretty much what you should be aiming for, this thing feels featherweight. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it basically feels like it's floating on its own. And once you pair it with the wand, that's when this feeling really comes into play in terms of balanced, kind of a balanced result. And so if you can get your setup to feel balanced, again, like it's floating like a feather, you are about to have the best wash of your entire life. At least I think so. So anyways, so grabbing this here, trigger lock is on. I'm going to go ahead and show you what rinsing looks like. So basically up here at the top, you can grab it one-handed if you want to do it like this. You can go ahead and get all that done, rinse everything there, and then for any reason, if you're like, man, I want to switch back to a stubby gun, pretty simple. You're going to go ahead and pull that trigger. It's going to be a single click, so meaning that when I lock this in place, it's literally as light as me going like that. Done. Bam. Done, right? Back to what I said earlier. If you do not feel comfortable using a trigger lock, you can remove it. You don't have to use it. Nobody's forcing you to use it. You can take it out. So there's that right there, getting off the nozzle here, clicking off the actual wand itself. We're going to go ahead and click that in, switch it back to the stubby orientation. Go back to rinsing. If you want to lock the trigger, you can. Find your favorite grip point for ergonomics and comfort. Get back to rinsing. Rinse your wheels. And then for people wondering, this is pressurized right now, and I'm going to go ahead and just spin that bad boy. You know what I mean? Sit on it and spray it. Yep. Sweet. Now, once you get to be a pro, you can just go ahead and take your spray gun and just insert your foam cannon into your spray gun. And at that point, you are you're a walking, talking, you know, look at me in this freaking outfit, dude.
You look dangerous.
Whose idea was this? I look like a freak. Anyways, I look like a Charlie's Angels like villain or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, the kids don't know what that means. Anyways, but yeah, I don't recommend doing that, but I do recommend holding your nozzle here into the nozzle holder. Very simple, and going ahead and clicking this bad boy in, and you're done. So you got your full system, foam cannon, nozzle, all in one. Makes things super easy to just rinse, foam, and go. And that way you're not setting down a bunch of crap. And so, huge fan. This is just, it's just a killer system. And we have a ton of different videos. And at this point, if you're looking to get more information, obviously all of our listings have videos that actually walk you through the product, right? So it's myself walking through a lot of the product videos, and we have plenty of content to come showcasing more of the Ultra H2O line. But basically, in this live stream, I've tried to answer a lot of the questions. I've tried to answer any grievances people may have had, and I hope at the very minimum that people watching this can relay that information, relay those messages, because there's going to be people out there that need to learn and need to, you know, get information. And I'm hoping that people here right now can spread positive information, can help people that are new to this, and you know, need to learn the ins and outs of this kind of stuff. And I think again, people here in this current live stream are very important for doing that. So, but this is it, man. This is the work of 2.5 years that, again, nobody tells you. It's an exceptional amount of work to, you know, start from scratch and, you know, build something from the ground up. And I understand now why most people don't do it. It takes a long time. Yeah.
It's a little intense. It's a little bit of work.
It is. It's a little bit of work, right? I understand why some people find some things off the shelf and they go, "I'll take that one. Change the color. I'll take that one. I'll just do that." I get it. Trust me, I get it. Yeah. All right. So moving on, Dane. What do we got? We have questions.
I have a number of questions. I want to remind people. Oh yeah, you should probably rinse off the rest of that soap.
Okay, hold on. I got to do a little bit more because Carson's looking at me like, dude, my truck.
Yeah.
Hold on. It's GSF. It's probably fine. Cool. Now, one other thing I'll tell people as well. If you find that the spray gun, right, if you find that the spray wand, the whole entire process, if you feel like you're fighting it, right, and you feel like you're dealing with more pressure than it should feel like, it may mean that you need to go to a larger orifice size. This is something that I've found a lot of people kind of learning here. For people here in the office that have bought in pressure washer setups, that were, you know, TRC employees that aren't necessarily detailers, but I know a couple of people got some. They said, hey, like, I got the 3.0 orifice on my pressure washer. I have the active 2.0, and I feel like it's kind of fighting me a little bit. Like, is there a reason for that? And I say yes, because the orifice size is not correct for that pressure washer. And if you feel like there's recoil happening, like if you feel like this is like throwing you back, you may have too small of an orifice size. Really what you're looking for is a good balanced feel. Look at this freaking outfit. A good balanced feel with little to no recoil that feels comfortable in the hand. That's what you're looking for. All right, Carson, I think we have got this thing rinsed off.
Anthony, let's not forget that the giveaway is also a thing.
Correct.
Because I've had many people in the comments asking about it, not realizing that when you comment, you actually were entered into the giveaway. That's really all
Correct.
it took.
Yep. So all you have to do is just comment, and you are actually entered right now. When we do the comment picker, it'll get picked, and we will have a winner based on literally comments alone. I mean, we are going to probably filter out duplicate comments, meaning that basically we're going to try to include everybody as an equal,
Yeah, I think
right?
it's just one entry.
The more you
person,
comment
really.
doesn't enter more entries. We're just going to have it to where basically where if you commented, you're in, and that's kind of how it works.
Now, I did have a number of good questions here. I figured this is kind of the time to do that as we're kind of reaching the latter part of our demonstration. RC here took a look back at SEMA, so I'm going to go ahead and let the question be seen here. I really like the titanium plate that was attached to the spray gun that you showed at SEMA.
Yep.
What made TRC change the color of the titanium plate to a rainbow colorway? Now, I remember because we had this conversation in the office. You presented multiple options.
Yeah.
This is the level of crazy that Anthony goes through.
Actually,
it couldn't
I'm
just be
gonna grab it.
one titanium colorway choice. He had multiple. Multiple. And he went, all right, let's take a vote in the office. Which way are we going? Anyway, I don't want to steal your thunder. Go ahead.
It's actually really funny, Jimmy. So what's really funny is, so here's the titanium version right here. No, they are sold out, and no, you can't have this one, but you can have the one that you can win in this giveaway. This, and you'll have a brand new one, not one that's been used. So this particular gun right here, so you can see what he's talking about here with the burned titanium, right? So fun fact, when I was at SEMA, that was actually my survey period. So if I talked to you about the plating, I actually asked a lot of people. I said, hey, what do you like? Do you like the burned titanium, or do you like this how it is, right? And I had showed some people some pictures of the burned titanium. If I had enough time with you, I eventually pulled up my phone and started showing you pictures. But I had asked people, I was like, do you like the burned or do you like the unburned titanium? And like, I would say 80% of everybody said, oh my God, you have to do the burned titanium. That's so sick. And so, but yeah, we had a raw titanium initially where it was unburnt, and all it was just basically a nice flat titanium metal. It still looked really, really nice. But I guess the whole point of titanium is the fact that you can burn this bad boy and it actually sticks around, right? Won't come off with polishing, won't come off with, won't come off easily with polishing, and it looks really, really nice. And so we basically realized that if we wanted to just make a metal plate out of, if it was colored like metal, we could just do stainless steel. We didn't need a titanium. But I really was kind of, hell-bent on doing the titanium and wanting to burn that. So we burned it. And to be honest, I am a JDM fanboy, and I love all things JDM and titanium. Is that a Tomei? Nope. It's a Ultra H2O spray gun. That's what I'm saying. So, I guess that's just a little bit of maybe me in that, right? Maybe a little bit of the JDM vibes, burnt titanium. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. I actually really liked the unfinished version, and then it was kind of everybody here in the office who kind of fixed the analysis paralysis for me and made it to where that was really kind of the go-to fix. But what's cool is that if you got a titanium version, every single one of these looks different. They're all hand burnt, meaning that some may have more blue, some may have more orange, some may have more purple, some might have little scuffs from manufacturing and stuff. I mean, basically, again, all hand burnt, all done by hand. No two titanium plates look the same, which means that if you got the special edition, then basically, you really do have one of 200 that is really unique to you. And so it's really cool. And if for any reason, I want to say this live here so people know, if for any reason your titanium plates come off, right, they are 3M taped on. We did that 3M tape because that was going to be the most durable way to do it and the most kind of water resistant, as we could not put hooks on the back of titanium. That doesn't really work like that, like the plastic pieces. But if for any reason you got the titanium version, you go, I hate how JDM fanboy this looks. You can just peel them off, and you can just put the normal black plates on in place of them if you have another gun and you want to do that. Or if they ever come off for any reason down the road, lots of use and abuse, you can just simply re-3M tape them and it goes right back on, and that's pretty much that. So just wanted to let people know so they know how that works.
No, there's a ton of love for the titanium, and I do want to point out for folks who may not be aware, Sorry, the initial run there with the limited edition did sell out. It actually sold out, and if I'm not mistaken, about 4 hours yesterday.
Yeah, it sold
that
out.
was quick.
Pretty exceptionally fast. And thank you to everybody, seriously. I mean, from the bottom of all our hearts, I thank you so much for support. I mean, that means the world to us that that many people wanted to be part of a launch. I mean, that's the coolest crap ever, man. That's amazing. Super, humbling and awesome.
No, very, very rad. And this is a fun one for you to answer from BT Dubs. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. Nice looking system just joined. Is the valve body in the sprayer stainless steel or nickel plated brass?
It is zinc coated steel.
There we go.
So yeah, it's not nickel plated brass, it is zinc coated steel, and so it does have a zinc coating on it. Keep in mind it's just an elbow, so it's not necessarily a massive piece, but you couldn't really make that. I mean, I guess you could make it out of stainless. It probably costs a significant amount of money to make it stainless, but it is a zinc coated steel with a really durable finish, and so yeah.
No, that's an excellent point. And yeah, that is something that, people are always asking, checking. They're just, it's good. Poke holes in it, try and find like the thing that, oh, I thought of this, I thought of that. There's always opportunities to grow, but Anthony really did go out of his way to try and think of everything he possibly could with this release. So it comes out of the box kicking and screaming in a good way. I do have Beer Medic again. You answered this earlier. He was at work and he missed his answer. So if you could please reply to him again. I saw there's a max GPM written on the side, but no minimum. So what's the story with minimum GPM?
More than, like I said earlier, more than hamsters on a wheel inside your pressure washer. So if you have a modern day electric pressure washer that's shooting upwards of 0.9 to 1 GPM, right, and upwards, you'll probably be fine. You'll probably have a good experience. But again, you do need to fine tune your orifice sizes based on the amount of GPM that you do have. And so we find that really anything from a 1.2 and upwards, really has a really good experience across the board. But when you really start getting into some of those, I would say lower GPM pressure washers, or just in general, just pressure washers that really weren't meant for this kind of stuff, that's where you might want to consider an upgrade. Yeah.
And I do have a number of other interesting questions here. Don't worry, I'll try and get to many more, but there was one in particular I want to bring up here. Chingy Blingy asking what several other people asked as well. Matt Moorman, Obsessed Garage, he's got opinions, right? And you remember what he told you the first time he heard what you were doing. I mean, this was a couple years ago at this point, but yeah, Chingy Blingy saying, I give Matt Moorman for 300 buckets, and the man does really have good taste. Was he involved in the R&D? Has he given any feedback on the system yet? Any idea if there's like an OG spec version coming? Like we'd do such a thing.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to try to say this like once, so I don't have to repeat myself. Me and Matt are friends. We are friends. We love each other. We love to give each other a hard time. He has projects sometimes that I look at him and I say, don't do that. I wouldn't do that. He has projects where he looks at me and says, don't do that. You don't know what you're doing, right? We give ourselves a hard time about things, but I do, I think that, again, holding myself to just the standard of the people I'm surrounded by, I think I knew kind of the benchmark to hit to make even those people, if you want to call them those people, happy. So I'll leave it at that. I hope Matt tries it at some point, right? I hope it does it on his own free will, though. I don't want to be forced by his coworkers to do it or whatever. I want him to actually try it because he wants to try it. And if he doesn't want to try it, then I respect that, and we can move on and we can get back to our normal, banter about whose pants are tighter and whose cars are less janky and things like that. But in the end, I am not competitive with a lot of people. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not by nature a super competitive person because I just kind of do my own thing in my own lane, and I just been pretty happy with it, right? But when it comes to Matt in competition, if he really wants to go, then I'm always ready for that. I'm always ready for a good time. But he should know, though, that we are friends and we want to help each other out. And I know enough about, I guess, I know enough to be dangerous, and I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, we love Matt, and no OG spec of this version coming as planned or anything like that. No.
Now, just on the topic though, of like Matt Moore related things, would Mosmatic nozzles fit the?
Yep, Mosmatic nozzles do
okay.
fit. Yep, Mosmatics do fit. Their nozzles do fit the gun. They are standard nozzle. Shout out to Mosmatic. They made a standard size. Appreciate that.
Booyah. All right, next up, I've got Synxium or Sign Exium. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm just going to go with Sign. The color combination isn't bad either. It would be nice for more color variety. So I did see this comment come up a number of times. We got a very like black and gray, and there's some blue going on today, but not on the H2O. So what's the story with colors?
I want to talk about that. Where'd Gabriel go? He had something for me.
Oh.
He had something for me.
Oh, no.
And I want to talk about color. I want to bring up color.
Is this like one more thing? Oh, no, it's a lid. Never mind.
Okay. I want to give a huge shout out to the people over at Dixie Cups for inspiring me to pick this particular color.
He's not joking about this. This is real.
So remember when I said that things took a long time to pick? I kid you not, the color itself for the Ultra H2O line took me upwards of 2 months, over 2 months, to pick the freaking color. And I know that probably sounds crazy, but there was a lot of pressure on the color, right? How do you find the perfect color for pressure washing? How do you find the perfect color for, detailers and whatnot? And I knew it was going to be gray. I didn't know what gray. Literally, I'm talking like Pantone. We bought Pantone books. I have 3 Pantone books where I'm going through and flipping through. I'm like, I don't know what gray is going to be the gray. I can't figure it out. And then one day I'm leaning up against the counter talking to Gabe or I think Josh Brodel, and we're talking about something, or maybe it was Jeff, and I was talking and I leaned up and, and I think I bumped up against this cup, and I don't know. I can't remember exactly how the whole thing happened. I think Jeff was there. Yeah, Jeff was involved because I think Jeff confirmed that, yes, this is a good color. And we looked at this color of the Dixie cup and we said, that's like the perfect gray, like almost like too perfect. Like we love this gray. And then we held it to these initial prototypes and we're like, can you envision this? Like, does that look like it's going to be good? So, yeah, we literally based the Ultra H2O line color on a Dixie cup. I can't freaking believe it. That's hilarious to say, but honest.
That's real.
So, but ultimately, it hides scuffs extremely well. It hides dirt extremely well. And honestly, when you throw it on the ground, you scuff it up on the asphalt. Like the one I threw in the video, in yesterday's video at launch, and I threw it into the canal. Truthfully, we picked that gun up and we had a hard time identifying where the major impacts were because the gray hit it so well. So we love the gray, but I do agree that, well, the system is ours. The molds are ours. Why not do a different color in the future? Maybe.
Huh.
We'll see.
Okay.
The girl can dream, can't she? I mean, yeah.
Totally fair.
Moving
totally
on.
fair.
Okay.
I do have some more questions here. I wanted to know, Thumbelievable, wondering, can the auto push lock quick releases be bought separately?
They are coming separately, yes. So you'll actually be able to buy these separately, probably here within the next, probably by end of this quarter, beginning of next quarter, we will have the first line of accessories available, which will include the bottles for the foam cannon with the lids, all-in-one bottle and lid combo, as well as the foam cannon rebuild kit with obviously the replacement filters, and you're going to be able to buy the auto lock quick disconnects completely separately. And I do want to just touch base on these quick disconnects for just a quick second too. In my graveyard of prototypes, believe it or not, there's not that many auto lock quick disconnects on the market. There's only really a handful of them, but there's more than probably what you think. We actually had about 5 total of different types of quick disconnects like this, right? And our code name for them was Ejecto-Cedo Connects, right? Based on the second Fast and the Furious movie where Tyrese Gibson ejecto-cedos a guy out of the passenger seat. That's where the whole thing kind of came, as our joke. But this particular quick disconnect here was the one that actually cost the most amount of money to produce. Literally, it costs the most amount of money to produce. Out of pretty much everything here within the accessory line, this is one thing that was kind of a non-negotiable because we had about a year and a half of testing on this particular style of quick disconnect on one single one. Not like 5 of them that we were testing, like one of them we used for a year and a half every single day. And we couldn't believe it that it never once had a malfunction. Like it was insane. And the reason for that, and I'll tell you guys right now, the reason why this is so good is because it's not the neural beating. It's not that. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the material itself, as well as the ability that hard water mineral contaminants and deposits will not clog up this particular quick disconnect. When you have a really tight, we'll call it a tight clearance auto lock quick disconnect, or some sort of like that, like a ejecto quick disconnect, there are several in the market that have a very tight clearance. I'm talking very, very tight, and we have them because we tested all of them because we considered all of them. And the ones that were actually the tightest clearance were the ones that failed first. It either failed in the mechanism itself and the spring mechanism, or it failed in the way that it got so gummed up by hard mineral contaminants that it no longer worked. And we actually we were soaking them in vinegar. We were doing all these things because we were trying to solve a problem that wasn't even our problem. We were just trying to understand why some of these were not as good as others, and why this particular one right here, this freak expensive stainless steel quick disconnect with neural beading cost us the most to produce, but it made sense, right? We knew that the clearances of this were going to be the most robust, and also the drop resistance is the most robust. You could literally drop this off of a building, have it land right there on the tip, right? And you might have a slight indent. You might have a scratch, right? But others, because it's a softer steel, will in fact get damaged and will in fact break eventually. And so one thing to keep in mind is that if you have hard mineral content, chances are if your clearances are really tight that it will eventually stop working and it will break. And if you're spending over $40 or however much on that quick disconnect, you've overspent for something that will not last you very long. And that's where ours are different, and you're going to be able to get a male and female version in a 2-pack here very, very soon. I hope that helps. I kind of went on a tangent there, but that's kind of the information that I'm looking to help people there.
So I wanted to end here on a good point, because that was kind of the whole idea behind this stream. Graham B saying, I'll give Anthony credit for not only answering the concerns about the bottle, the color, and the nibs on the lid, but clearly also giving a detailed reason as to why. And if you could just do like a succinct version of that as our like last question to answer here, just for people who missed out on it, a short version of why we went with the bottle color we did, and as far as the nibs go. And then I will announce the giveaway winner. So I don't want people to miss out on that. But I do have it down here in front of me, so I know people are champing at the bit here for the result.
Yeah, okay. So quick and dirty, basically anything that is colored and clear that looks like an Nalgene bottle is a PET bottle. PET bottles are not durable long-term with higher alkaline chemicals, meaning that due to the chemical breakdown as well as heat, temperature, or heat, cold, UV exposure, and all of that, those types of bottles degrade exceptionally fast. Now, if you're using pH-bound shampoos, it may not be a problem long term, but there really is no comparison to the chemical resistance and the durability to an HDPE bottle, hence why we went with an HDPE. So I hope that answers that. But yeah, there's a big, people don't really know, but like you really kind of have to understand how manufacturing works and chemical resistance works, and then it makes it very apparent on why some of the best foam cannons on the market, or at least some of the most prestigious foam cannons on the market, use an HDPE bottle, and some of the lower costing bottles on the market use a PET bottle. It's not to say that all PETs are bad, and it's not to necessarily diss that. They do look great. I think they look sexy as all get out, and I love the way that they look, but I know that we were going for more function over form, and that's why we did what we did. So, Dane.
Yes.
I think it's giveaway winter time. People are chomping at the bit.
All right, so I've had it sent to me here. I'm going to attempt to read this. Winner of today's giveaway during this stream, once again, all you had to do was comment during this live, and our winner here from the random picker was Angel Pagan Varela 5572. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but congrats to Angel Pagan Varela 5572.
Congrats.
So,
Congrats, man.
Congrats. Yes.
Enjoy
awesome.
it. Have fun with it. I think yeah, you have one of 200. Well, technically there was like 200 and a little over 200 produced because we had to produce some for the giveaway. But you have one of 200 and something produced, which is pretty amazing, man. You should be super happy.
Yes, and I do have one important note I want to throw out here for Angel. Make sure you reach out to our customer service. Anthony, if you can tell them how they can do that, that would be really helpful. I'm going to get off the screen. Leave the rest up to you.
Yeah, so you can either reach out via chat or you can reach out via email to our customer service line. You also give us a call. You can either talk to Lucas or Tabby on the phone or even Aaron on the phone. Basically, we're just going to be looking for information and ideally just kind of verifying that it is actually you. And then we can get an address from you and we can get that stuff sent out. Just give us your orifice size and we go from there. But congratulations. You look excited, man. I'm super pumped for you. You know, it's you got a little piece of TRC history and I hope you use it. So, Dane, that is going to be it. You copied me, you wore the same clothes as me, but you know what? Wouldn't have anybody else do it. So thanks for coming along for the ride. And really just want to say thank you to everybody who supported the Ultra H2O line, whether you are a customer or whether you're an employee here at the ride company. I mean, literally this was an entire team effort. I may have done the design, the drawing, that kind of stuff and all the nitpickery, right? But ultimately this was so many people that was involved in everything, right? It's crazy, right? So big shout outs to Josh Brodel, Gabriel Garcia, Nate Schrum, Jimmy Wilkie, Shane, I guess I say Shane Bond, I mean say his last name, right? But I have everybody who was really supportive. And I also want to give a huge shout out, to Levi Yates back in the day for also helping me support, with all the original ideas because he was kind of part of the initiation of all of this. And then last but not least, Jeff and Carolyn, right? I mean, you guys you obviously gave me full reign and trusted that we could get this to across the finish line, and we were able to do it. And we are super appreciative of having such a great leadership team with Jeff, Carolyn, John, and everybody else. So, been an awesome run, been an awesome experience. They're now available. You can buy them. Feels kind of crazy to say that, but it is true. You can buy the Ultra H2O line now. So, as always, everyone, if you guys enjoyed the live stream, learned something new, had fun watching, or just wanted to see all this come to fruition, thank you so much. And as always, make sure to give us a big thumbs up if you like the video. If you want to see more, subscribe down below for more, and stay tuned for more videos right here at the Rad Company. Thanks for watching.